Marnus an island while Australia all at sea. For the second time in 5 days, Marnus Labuschagne understudied Steve Smith. For the second time, he played the role almost faultlessly, down to the detail of standing 2 out with David Warner in a collapsing Australian cause. Perhaps he thinks he is Smith. If so, no one should wake him from his trance. At Lord's, the second test was on the line when he came in. At Headingley, perhaps the third test was, too. It was only day 1, but a Headingley sort of day 1. The cloud was low and swirling, the light dull, the atmosphere as ominous as Geoff Boycott's voice, and England's captain Joe Root, a local, scarcely hesitated to bowl first. In the hands of Jofra and Stuart Broad, the ball was dancing around as exotically if it was, well, Smith. To a point, the movement was, like Smith's tics, a distraction. For a long time, England was seduced by themselves. Literally dozens of times, the ball curled and jagged past the outside edge of Warner's bat, especially, past the stumps, past caring. Broad beat Warner more often in a morning than in all of the last Ashes series in Australia. It did not matter that he missed, Warner said, as long as the ball did, too. It was almost as if a play and miss was a good shot, Warner said. For much of the day, 5 slips hovered, but not one catch went to them until the last hour. At length, it was deliveries that did just enough from a more finely calibrated line that wreaked the damage. But at 2:24, Labuschagne could not know this. Marcus Harris, replacing Cam Bancroft, had been caught at the wicket. Usman Khawaja strangled down leg side. The names had changed, but still Australia's top order were defenceless innocents. Warner had taken 14 balls to make a run. Among his misadventures was a half-cut at Broad so timid you had to check whether he, too, was being impersonated by a ring-in. Some test careers evolve as per plan, some despite one. Labuschagne began in test cricket as handyman and stopgap and resumed last week as substitute. Now he was troubleshooter and repairman. Immediately, he looked organised, compact and patient. For 17 balls, he dwelled on naught, nervelessly. He left where others played, but when the chance came he drove where others pushed, flicked neatly to leg and pulled and hooked as necessary, too, and so could not be tied down. While Australia played the World Cup, Labuschagne made 1,000 runs, including 500s, for Glamorgan. The benefit showed in the way he took his bearings on off-stump and stayed true to them. Sometimes, England is generous to a fault, and it puzzles even their own powers that be. Labuschagne and Warner made for an odd couple that somehow worked. Warner was working to relieve himself of infamy, Labuschagne of anonymity, also mispronunciation. At the crease, Warner visibly re-inflated while Labuschagne's form filled out before our eyes. They were assertive in all they did. Labuschagne, though the junior partner, was not the lesser. Even as he concentrated on keeping his discipline and shape, he exhorted Warner to do the same. He was wearing Smith's shoes, after all. Besides, Test cricket is not for wallflowers. It helped that Labuschagne was right-handed. The balance of Australia's top 6 all were left-handers, and all perished to right-armers angling in from around the wicket. Labuschagne was less vulnerable to this line. Perhaps it also helped that Archer bowled exclusively uphill until the day's last over. He took 5 wickets, so Root's judgment was vindicated, and yet you could not help but wonder what oar he might have struck rolling down the slope. He bowled 1 ball from there, the last of the innings, for the last of his 6 wickets. He has hit cricket like a cyclone, leaving a trail behind him. Whenever he re-entered the game, it was as if a fire had been fanned. Well, this is the Ashes. The day moved in waves. Rain came and went, light rose and fell, play started and started again, Archer and Broad waxed, the others bowlers waned. Assertive in all they did, Warner and Labuschagne rode the ebb and flow. Warner's cheek returned, Labuschagne's front widened. 66 runs came in 10 overs, dawn in the middle of the day. When their stand reached 100, and the sun briefly shone, they hugged. Somewhere nearby, Fred Truman rolled in his grave. England, cloud, Archer and gloom came again. The luck ran with Australia early and with England late. Labuschagne copped such a fearful blow to the groin from Broad that he might have thought last week's bonk on the head preferable. He was not tested for concussion, but he might have been audited. Then a dipping Ben Stokes full toss unsighted and toppled him like a 9-pin, and he was LBW, too. The end came indecently fast. At the reckoning, Labuschagne and Warner were the only Australians to make more than 11. For the accidental hero, this was an accidental finish, but only to this innings. Having solved a headache for Australia, Labuschagne has created one. Matthew Wade, Travis Head and perhaps even Kawaa will be looking around nervously. As if Archer and Broad were not competition.